I want to give a huge thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Therapy isn't something to run away from, it's a vessel to run towards. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and it's 100% online, so break out your comfies. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time. Anytime. And schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. No more fumbling to get a session on the calendar. You schedule based on when the time is right for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. Therapy changed my life for the better. Pun intended. And with BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Rocky. That's betterhelp.com/Rocky. Wow, Skillington the first, my brother, you're back on the pod. Is this your third time on the pod?
It's my third time doing the podcast, yeah.
This is the Thanksgiving week episode, but I'm putting it out a week later. So I do my own thing, I beat to my own drum, but welcome back.
I'm happy to be here, Rocky. Thank you for having me on your podcast on Wild Nights.
I hope we got that gulp, and you did a really big gulp.
Oh my God, here we go again.
I wish I had a gift for you, but I don't. But
your present is a gift, Rock.
My present is a present. Kiss my ass. Name that song.
Something by the Bee Gees.
It's by the Bee Gees. You got it. Great job. So I have a notebook here because I have some bullet points I want to talk about.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to share before we get underway?
I'm pissed at you. You asked me to keep my shit, but I'm looking at you across this table, and I could just when they do those jump kicks in action movies where it's both feet just like pounding.
Yeah, like
chest. If I could do that to you right now, and I know it wouldn't hurt you, like I know it wouldn't damage you, like if you were invincible or something, like a punching bag. Oh my god, just like I would hurt myself trying to do it.
I don't care if you're mad at me.
I'm not that mad at you, but I do want you to know that something about your look and your energy, I want to jump kick like a wrestler. Like, I want to lean back on the cords and then charge at you, and then midway through, jump, turn my body horizontally, and charge my momentum of both of my feet, and I just like...
I feel that way about you.
Launch you backwards.
You know what? I was going to say I feel that way about you sometimes, but I don't.
What? You never feel that way?
Like I want to jump kick you?
Like a wrestler. Like in a wrestling match, if you knew, like, we figured it out, it wouldn't really hurt you that much, but it would hurt you a little bit, maybe hurt your ego.
No, I don't have a desire to do that,
Okay, neither do I then. For the record, neither do I.
Okay, well, the lie detector determined that was a lie. And it's okay. You know what? I'm your older sister. We have similar faces, so anything that you are displeased with your face about, you might see in me, a literal mirror. Perhaps. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, definitely answer the text.
I'm not answering text. I'm Googling jump, kick, wrestling, name. Because I bet there's a name for it. Driving elbow drop. That's something different, but I would like to do that to you.
A driving elbow drop.
Yeah. Executed by diving onto a supine opponent with one elbow cocked, driving the elbow into the opponent.
You gotta watch those feet.
My feet?
Yeah, you're stomping and it's shaking the table.
Oh my god, the fucking rules. Alright. You know what? I don't know what this one's called, but we'll call it the Rocky.
Okay, the Rocky. I like that. Uh-oh, I got something. I have a splinter. Shit.
You have a splinter?
Yeah, I think it's from the wooden chairs.
That's gross.
Well, welcome to the show. Welcome back. I really enjoy when you're on the show because I feel like we can be our fullest, most authentico selves. Not that I'm not my most authentico self when I do the pod, but it's just like, We keep it real with each other.
I'm presenting a version of myself for sure that's inauthentic.
Well, I wish I had a gift for you. I don't. But I wish I had a gift for you because recently was your 5-year anniversary of being a weed smoker. Once you popped, the fun never stopped. You smoked weed for the first time on Thanksgiving 5 years ago.
That's the truth.
When you saw me I was cleaning our parents' kitchen after Thanksgiving, and I was, I guess, chain smoking electric vape thing. I remember you going, "Does that even get you high? What does it even do?" That's what you said. And then I came over to the couch and I was like, now is the time, now is the moment. And then you smoked it, and Mom came home because she had to work on Thanksgiving because she's a real one. She came home and you just sat there and ate a bunch of pieces of apple pie, like to the dome.
Yeah, and I also had macaroni and cheese that night. And at this point in my life,
You were eating clean.
I hadn't had dairy, bread, sugar, refined sugar for like 6 months, 8 months maybe.
Yeah, so he was a real dream to be around too. Real fun.
Yeah.
Real fun guy.
Yeah.
No, you were...
I don't know if that was the eating though. I get what you're implying, the opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm being facetious.
Yeah, I get that. I don't think it was the clean eating that was making me that way though. I think it was just my general well-being that made me a bit of a grouch. I think that if I was clean eating now paired with marijuana, I would be my even-keeled self.
You'd be even-keeled for sure because marijuana even keels you. I would say on a scale of wanting to be around you before you smoked the weed that night and wanting to be around you after, I'd choose after. I remember being really nervous, which is so funny now to think because our whole family smokes weed together. But I was so nervous for Mom to find out that I gave you weed. And I was just watching you eat the pie in front of her like, oh my God, this motherfucker's about to rat. He's about to rat. She's going to know. His eyes are bloodshot.
I'll tell you one thing. Hiding smoking weed from Mom and Dad arbitrarily. Just for no reason. Just because it was like the last bit of youth you could hang on to.
I guess,
like,
yeah.
Oh, they don't know this,
Yeah.
Doing something behind your parents' back is always fun. Oh, I'd be high and then be around them pretending to not be high. But at a certain points, I think like Mom would probably have been doing the same thing, which is funny to think.
Santa Claus, have to tell you how I found out.
I don't even know if it's appropriate to say, because you want this to be the reason somebody knows. You want somebody to have stumbled upon this, and then they hear your little story about Saint Nick, and then they start changing how they might believe. Is that what you want to really do? Shatter something for someone else right now?
Yeah,
Perpetuate the cycle of trauma.
I'm Scott Calvin.
Who's Scott Calvin?
Who's Scott Calvin?
Yeah.
Who's Scott Calvin?
Oh, is that the name of the Santa Claus?
I'm not coming back here on Thanksgiving.
I didn't know that his name was...
SC, Scott Calvin.
Oh. You know what's so funny? In my head, and this is just how my brain works, when I was visualizing those letters, it was Scott Calvin and it started with a G. Is that weird?
No.
I'm just speaking the truth. Like Scott Galvin, maybe.
That movie is one we watch every year. It's my favorite Christmas movie. And we find a new thing to laugh about every year.
Yeah, that movie is...
That's our Christmas movie.
That's your Christmas movie.
No, but it's become me, you, and Kaylee's Christmas movie together.
I just don't like the, being tied down to a Christmas movie. Is that weird of me?
No.
But, I feel, and this is how I feel about Christmas movies, and I'm going to get into it. Look, everybody wants to watch Christmas movies around Christmas. I get it. It's the time of year. If you celebrate Christmas, you might want to watch a Christmas movie. Even if you've seen it before, everybody loves to do that, right? Mm-hmm. I'm of the school of thought that, we're inside, it's the holidays, we have a little more time off, you want to be cozier and do things like watch movies. Why not watch some good movies that you might never have seen before and have some new experiences? And good movies always come out around Christmas too, like literally on Christmas Day. So it should be about celebrating cinema as opposed to watching some fucking doofus slip down a staircase made of ice and land on a sleigh and go riding down a hill out of control while like a child has to save him. Like that's every Christmas movie. And they're only parodying themselves the longer they exist. It's just like this perpetual cycle of nonsense, gibberish, and gumdrops. And it's like sometimes I want to watch a psychological thriller in December when it's snowing. I don't want to sit there and yeah, it's an intense opinion. I still will do it, and I'm not the Scrooge or the Grinch. Not to just, name 2 more Christmas movies.
Yeah,
but
you're feeding the stereotypes.
I'm not those things. And I don't need to be visited by ghosts for my opinions to change.
Oh, if you think that's going to stop the ghost from visiting, hey, ghost, I don't need to be visited by you. I'm good.
I'm good. Like, let's just skip
that's
to
gonna
the
work.
end.
Well, I actually hear you out, and I think that's what December 26th through January 2nd is for, watching those movies.
That's really valid. And also, there's some good Christmas movies,
There are some great Christmas movies, but the Santa Claus is one that we actively make a point. And on a deeper level, I think traditions are important because traditions, now this is going to get really deep right now. I think traditions are important, especially for families and friend groups, because they remind you that you're here.
You think that they're anchor points as a soul travels through time.
As the soul travels through time, I'm doing this tradition again with the people I love. So it's another, like, adding a brick to the tradition, and adds, like, some more foundation to the foundation. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it adds, like, another layer. So that's why I think traditions are important. That's why I look forward to watching the Santa Claus. Because it used to just be a Christmas movie that I made a point to watch. And now, like, the longer you and Kaylee have been together, we make a point, all of us, to watch it together. And I really enjoy that. Do you remember the first time you realized Santa was not real?
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay.
Can we just say this? Spoiler alert for Santa Claus.
I will.
If you don't want to know about Santa, if you don't want to know anything about Santa, whether it's something you might like or might not know, spoiler alert for Santa.
Spoiler alert for Santa.
You never know what some fucking kid could be scrolling through the algorithm listening
or
to this.
Or if you're listening with your kids, yeah, you're right. Spoiler alert for Santa. How I found out that Santa wasn't real. It was before you were born. And Maria and Tom, this is our aunt and uncle, they used to have a little Christmas Eve party. We've had a lot of Christmas Eve traditions that have morphed and stuff, but Maria and Tom had Christmas Eve this year. And Maria bought me this doll. And maybe some millennials remember this doll. But the doll was it was a pink baby doll. And she was fluffy and soft. Her body was fluffy and soft. And her head was super heavy. Ridiculously heavy. And it was heavy because she did tumbles. So you could sit her down, and then the weight of her head would move forward, and she would tumble. And it was the best toy. The best toy. It was great. I was buzzing. Like, that toy is the adult equivalent of having 3 glasses of champagne and,
And the entrees haven't even come yet.
And the entrees haven't even come yet, and you're having laughs, and everybody's happy, and your outfit is popping. Like, that is what this toy was equivalent to, like, 4 or 5-year-old Rocky. Mm-hmm. Back at our old place before you were born. You never saw it, but Mom and Dad had a bar. I actually think the bar is in the basement.
I've seen the bar. I fucking moved that heavy-ass, old-ass bar now.
So
I'm not going to talk shit about the bar.
Don't talk shit about the bar. The bar's cute as hell.
Bar's cute as hell.
The bar was cute as hell, but our parents had a bar in the apartment.
The sands of time do change all.
The sands of time, yeah.
The bar is still pretty.
Bar's lit. And so they had a little bar in the house. I went to get Dad a glass of water because if you know our dad, my man's asking someone for a glass of water at all times.
Yeah.
He's always asking, can you get me a glass of water?
At a certain point, you start to think, is this a mind game? Are you playing mind games?
Are you playing mind games? But somebody's getting this guy a glass of water. At some point. Every day, somebody's bringing this man a glass of water. So he asked me, even at 4 or 5, get me a glass of water. So I went to go get him a glass of water, and I go down the hall, and what to my wondering eyes should appear, behind the bar, I see all these presents. And they're wrapped, which is like kudos to Mom because they were probably partying that night too. And now the presents are wrapped before I go to bed. Good on you. A parent's dream.
That's some good parenting.
That's some good parenting. But I saw that it said to Rocky from Santa. And I said, if this isn't in Mom's handwriting, which is probably something I wouldn't have noticed had the illusion not been shattered. So that from then on, and then I remember that morning, I kind of was like, y'all fake. Y'all fake.
You confronted them about it?
I didn't confront them. I mean, if you ask Mom now, Santa still exists, so... And I'm half of 70 years old, so...
Look, I'm going to say this. The jury's still out as to whether or not Saint Nick, the mythical being that provides you with presents, is real or not for me, right? Mm-hmm. Now, there was something that did happen during my childhood. I hit the table. You should see her from across the thing. She looks like she wants to do a diving jump kick.
A Rocky.
Okay. So, what was I? I'm a little high.
Whoa. You were saying what happened to you. You were saying Santa's real, but what happened to you to kind of...
See, I almost forgot what happened to me because this starts to make me think that Santa Claus, maybe is real. Because I'm trying to remember the time where I thought, when I started to put the pieces together, that he might not be real.
Right.
And then a magical spell comes over me and I start forgetting what I'm saying. So listen, I'm telling you.
I think the magical spell is marijuana.
Well, I am getting text, but I'm going to let him be.
Let him rock.
So, anyways,
tell him you're recording the pod.
Look, I can't even get my thought out. What is it?
About skills. You can't be serious. That makes me worried.
Okay. I was really worried. Oh, doctor, you'll never get to see. He can't remember when he found his presents. Okay, so I was home alone, I think. I don't know. Or someone was downstairs, Mom or Dad. And I think I was just snooping and found them in the closet.
What made you snoop?
I think you start asking questions at a certain age. You start being like...
Hearing things and rumblings and grumblings.
Well, you start being like, well, we don't have a chimney.
Yeah.
We don't have a chimney. So then what? He slides underneath the door?
Yeah.
As a child, you might be able to wrap your head around, oh, it's okay. A chimney, it does have an entrance. Maybe he slides down it. He throws some sand down to put out the fire and then lights it as he goes up. Mm-hmm. He goes out the front door, perhaps, with his milk and cookies. But you start asking yourself, like, what the fuck? And then I remember being like, I didn't want to tell other kids.
Oh, you're so noble.
I mean, I really didn't. You
were like, I can't be. And you know what they say?
What?
You shouldn't be the bearer of bad news. If you can help it, don't be the bearer of bad news.
If you can help it?
Do not be the bearer of bad news if you can help it. So that means if you're hanging in a group setting and you're like, hey, did you hear so-and-so?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, like that.
Hey, guys, I've been smelling propane for the past 45 minutes. I think there might be a gas leak.
I think you're, no. If you smell propane, if you smell something and you're like, shit, it might be popping off right now, you need to say something. But if you hear...
Okay, so then when can you be the bearer of bad news? When it's convenient?
When you can be the bearer of bad news when you have to be,
okay.
Or if somebody asks you something specifically. If you're in a situation where you're like, I have to tell you this thing because this bad thing happened and we got to deal with it, but you shouldn't be like, oh, did you hear?
Gossiping bad news. You don't need to be the person that presents it to the group. Sometimes it happens. We're all human beings. It's by human nature to be a little beep, 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 gossipy. But if you can help being the bearer of bad news and be it as little as possible, that will only help your journey. All right.
You heard it here first.
That's a good piece of advice. Yeah. So for that principle, I didn't want to.
I'm proud of you.
I didn't want to expose it to the other kids. Also, it kind of felt like really malicious thing to do. Like to be like, hey, just so you know, if you thought that there might be any mysticism in the world, hey, it's a lie. And everybody's going to lie to you about it. And then you're like, oh, what the hell? And then you actually have to relearn. I think there's a point, I don't know, maybe young men can relate to this, but it's like there's a point when you're in high school and stuff where you start being like, okay, well, that sort of mystical stuff isn't real. And then you start being like, well, what is the truth of life? And then you're like, oh, it's all science and it's all this and it's all that. And then you start being like, well, I will throw out all of those things and I'm just going to live in a grounded reality, almost to shield yourself from being confronted with another Santa Claus revelation. But the truth of the matter is, the lesson of Santa Claus is that you will learn those things throughout your entire life. You'll learn new facts about people or interesting things that will shatter how you thought of stuff, just like Santa Claus did, right?
Yeah.
So you're a young man and you have these sorts of walls that you've put up. And then you start to realize that it's no better. So you have to find a blend of mysticism in your objective truth and realize that when you start embracing objective truth, you realize that there is none. Like, it's all a construct, it's all rules that we've created. It's all a side effect of the ways our brains developed. Our consciousness could be that. Or it could be something way more intricate and breathe through every item and object. So it's kind of like, you can't just be like, oh, it's all this, it's all this, it's all numbers, it's all facts, because then you'll start to resent your own sense of closure and perspective on the world. It's weird.
It's weird.
It's weird. At least that's how I feel. Or at least that's not how I feel. That conclusion might not be correct, but I think that experience is a little universal. That like tug and pull of like, how objective are you going to be versus how spiritual you're going to be. And I don't know if objective is the right word, but like how much you'll let spirituality into your life, or how much you'll let the unknown into your life.
And how much you'll conform to things.
Yeah.
There was a time once I remember I was tripping on mushrooms, and I want to say it was snowy out, but it might not have been, but I started thinking about Christmas and Santa Claus, and I thought, if I have children one day, I can choose to get them presents and put them under a tree and do all this stuff with them. But what if there just was no Santa? And I just explained to them like, oh yeah, Santa's more of an idea. Like, oh my God, but wait, that's the plot of the Santa Claus. Oh my God. That's what Judge Reinhold, I can't remember his name, Neil in the Santa Claus, and the mother, Laura, they tell Charlie, there is no such thing as Santa.
Spoiler alert for Santa Claus.
Yeah, it only came out 18 years ago, 28 years ago. Oh my God, yikes.
You know, I feel like that argument, though, is starting to lose its luster when everything streams now. It's like, oh, well, that came out like 20 years ago. If you haven't seen it now, it's like, well, yeah, maybe, or maybe I haven't gotten around to seeing any movie that's ever been out.
Yeah, like, give me a second.
Give me a second. Maybe I need 30 years before I can see Fight Club.
But,
even though I've seen Fight Club, but you know what I mean.
The only thing that was faulty with Judge Reinhold and Laura in the movie, The Santa Claus, doing it that way, is where did the gifts come from? In reality, if you're buying your children gifts, you're like, oh, these are from your parents, these are from your caretakers, whatever, your guardians. But they were like, there is no Santa, but there's presents under the tree. Like, how do they explain that? So that was the only thing in the Santa Claus that I never really got.
That was the only thing in the Santa Claus that you never really got? Not that he magically gained weight and grew a beard very fast?
Well, because if in this reality Santa exists, then that makes sense. It makes sense to the reality of the movie that he would transform into Santa. It doesn't make sense for the reality of the movie that they would deny Santa's existence and then presents would still appear for Charlie.
I always felt like there was, like, that's the spell of Santa Claus, is that the parents will be like, yeah, we bought the presents, but we won't tell the children, but Santa is the one who's actually putting the presents under the tree, and the parents, it's like the parents might be like, oh, you must have wrapped that for them, didn't you? Or, like, they just don't ask each other questions about it, and they just think, like, maybe the other one put it under, or maybe this, and it's just the magic of Santa Claus is that.
It's like the Men in Black eraser thing. Well, yes, but in that couldn't exist in 2023 because everything's so expensive.
You think the Men in Black are real?
Yes.
Okay, to what extent?
Wow. Damn, hitting me with the hard-hitting questions. Of course the Men in Black are real.
To what extent of the lore? Because if we're talking about the reality of Men in Black, there is a cinematic depiction that people imagine, which is a agency of human and aliens that work together to help congregate alien interactions, interstellar beings interacting on planet Earth, and they monitor them almost like the TSA or the FBI would.
Monitor aliens the way they monitor humans?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course. I think it exists because, first of all, how egotistical to think we're the only beings. That's egotistical. In the entire galaxy, in the entire universe, in the entire solar system, we're it. Well, guess what? Yikes.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying aliens, based on what I've seen, are much to look at. Some of them are slimy and disgusting. They look like octopuses taken out of the water.
Wait, what are you talking about? Like depictions of aliens?
A lot of the ones in Men in Black.
Oh, they come in all different sorts of shapes and sizes.
They come in all different shapes and sizes, yes.
So you think it's egotistical to think that we
for
are the
humans,
only... I think that it's egotistical that human beings think that we're the highest form of consciousness on the planet.
Oh, well, you could get me started on that.
I think that's a bit egotistical. Now, could we... it might be best case scenario that we're the only thing in this universe. Because something else might be like, give us all your gold.
There's no way. I know that we have higher consciousnesses.
If there's one animal that you had to say was living on a different plane of us, not a plant, an animal.
I know what you're going to say, but let's say it at the same time.
What? No, that's way too much pressure. I got a couple of animals.
No, okay, but I know which one you're going to say. This is like the game I made us play at Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
I made the whole family go around and make eye contact with each other while one person, I was the person, held a deck of cards and said, what card? And then I tried to telepathically tell them. It didn't work. But we had laughs. What animal do you think is on a different plane? We're going to do 3, 2, 1 and say it.
Okay.
Finish your yawn.
Oh, good. I had time. You had the countdown.
But now I have to yawn. Do you know what they say about psychopaths? They say that psychopath, and I don't mean to give a tip to a psychopath if they didn't know this already, but they say that psychopaths or sociopaths, whatever one doesn't take empathy, like process empathy or have empathy. Let's just use the word not psychopaths or not sociopaths.
What the fuck are you saying? What the fuck are you trying to say?
Listen. Relatively normal person, a regular person, if they see someone yawn, as a reflex, they will yawn.
Okay.
As a reflex, they will yawn.
Okay.
But sociopaths, because they lack empathy, won't yawn. But real sociopaths will yawn when they see someone yawn because they know they're supposed to yawn. So they'll make themselves yawn. Now, that is some... I almost said Jason Bateman, but I meant Christian Bateman? Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
Shit.
So far you've said 2 actors and then the role, the character.
Patrick Bateman shit.
But also Jason Bateman would do a fantastic depiction of American Psycho. I'd cast him in it right now. He would do great. You kidding me? It'd be so funny too.
But isn't that mind-blowing? You know, YouTube will lead you down a spiral of, are people psychopaths? And I've watched some videos. I gotta know who's a psychopath around me.
Okay. Men in Black, though. You think that there are, like, aliens on this planet that the government is, like, documenting and helping migrate through the planet?
They said they did.
Who did?
The government. Remember a little while ago, they were like, aliens are real. And we were all like, we just want health insurance.
Interesting stuff.
Interesting stuff. One thing I wanted to say earlier, we were talking about spoiler alerts.
Okay, yeah. Ooh, we should do our best spoiler alerts.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Because I know my best spoiler.
Okay, tell me the movie before you spoil it.
Sophie's Choice.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I've never seen that movie.
But I want to tell you, I don't want to talk about the movie, but I want to tell you how I spoiled it for someone.
Oh, how'd you spoil it? Well, aren't you going to...
I'll bleep it out for the show.
But I don't want it to be spoiled for me.
Okay, then and then I won't tell you, but I'll tell you a little something.
Yeah, okay.
So, in the movie Sophie's Choice, the choice is she has to choose one of her children.
That, to me, is a spoiler. Immediately, you have spoiled...
No.
Isn't that like... That's the whole plot of the movie?
That's common knowledge. But...
Is it the whole plot of the movie?
No.
So, it's when does it come up in the movie?
Right at the end.
Okay, so you would say that is sort of like you've now spoiled that is what the movie is about. I'm going to sit through the
You're
movie
gonna put Sophie's
and
Choice
wonder
on.
what the choice that she's going to be presented with the entire time until right now I know the choice. So now I will never be able to watch that movie not knowing that she has to make that choice. Some people got to sit there and be like, I wonder what Sophie's Choice will be about.
You're going to put Sophie's Choice on and you're going to say, and this is no offense to Meryl because go off queen, we know you're a legend, but if you put on Sophie's Choice knowing you're going to be out in 5 minutes. It is a snoozer until the choice. It's a snoozer until the choice. But I was we were at the beach, it was a couple summers ago, and... He starts talking.
I just think it's intense how you say your friends' full names on the
I'll
podcast.
just say I was with Mike at the beach.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he starts talking about... I was with Mike at the beach a couple years ago. And he starts talking about... I don't know if it was the movie Beaches or something. Or maybe it was a different movie. But he told me... The movie he was talking about, I was like, oh, this sounds great. Tells me a little bit more. Oh, this sounds awesome.
tells me a little bit more. Then he spoils the ending. Now, whatever movie he was talking about, I could watch it right now and not remember how he spoiled the ending, whatever. But I very nicely said to him, oh, I feel like you're, okay, I got it. I should watch the rest. Don't tell me anymore. And he just keeps going. He keeps going. And then he spoils the end of the movie. And I was like, Glad? Don't get mad. Get glad. The commercial.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. Because I go, oh. In my head, I go, this motherfucker really just spoiled the movie that I said I wanted to watch. With glee. He spoiled it with glee. And so I go, have you ever seen Sophie's Choice? And he goes, no. And I go, she picks the... And I told him what kid she picks. And then I just turned around. And he went... I think he's still picking his jaw up from the floor. Don't spoil movies for people.
Oh, you'll spoil other movies. An eye for an eye.
An eye for a motherfucking eye. I still haven't gotten over this girl I worked with. I told her, this was years ago, I told her I was going to see Get Out. I was so excited. And then she's like, oh yeah, it ends like this. And I just looked at her and I go, I just told you I was excited to see that movie. Why would you spoil it? You know what? That pissed me off. That pissed me off. We gotta be real, right?
I suppose.
Don't spoil movies for people.
Yeah, or you'll get ousted on a public platform.
And I hope she learned her lesson.
I hope so too. What's a lesson you've learned lately?
A lesson? That's a great question, Skills.
I know, I'm fucking putting the show on my back with the questions. What's Men in Black? What's a lesson you've learned?
It does your back hurt because you're carrying the pod.
My back hurts because of my posture.
I would say a lesson I learned lately is just be cool. Just be cool. Like, nothing really is that serious unless something is really serious. So if you're around people you're choosing to be around, make that time enjoyable. If you're around people you don't really like to be around, if you can get yourself out of the situation, don't waste your time there. I went somewhere the other day and I was like, this is not the vibe, so I'm going to leave. My people weren't really there. I wasn't like, I don't like small talk always. I genuinely believe you'll gravitate toward when the mood is right. What I'm trying to say is I don't like to force friendships. I like connections and I like genuine connections, but I don't like to force friendships. Ever. Let's be chill. Let's be natural.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the clutch moments that make people closer are the unexpected. You witness something outside, you have a little bond, you're in a group of people and a mutual friend says something and you both laugh at it. And then you're like, oh, okay. I see who you are. But
I see your perspective.
Do you see what I'm saying now? Where I'm saying I think a lot of the time we feel as though we have to be like, how are you? What's going on? Especially in the entertainment industry, you have to present your credentials of what you're doing at that moment, at every moment. Oh, so what do you have going on? What are you doing? And it's like, sometimes I just want to be at a bar having a laugh. And I don't want to have to give my my latest endeavors, and other people shouldn't have to give me their latest endeavors if they don't want to, if it's not genuine, if it doesn't come up organically. And I just think that we can spark more organic conversations or ask or challenge each other to ask more interesting questions. You're my brother. Every question you've said to me today on this podcast has been interesting to me. Is that because we have a bond and we're close, or is it because and we're comfortable asking each other strange questions, or is it because you're someone who is good at asking questions?
It's the latter.
You know what I have trouble with? Former and the latter. When people are like, it's the former, it's the latter, I'm like, could you just...
Why? Do you have a problem with that? Do you not?
Because I don't know which one is which.
Well, I'll tell you, because for the longest time I used to think when you said the latter, I thought it meant a little bit of both. Because the ladder touches the ground and the top.
Oh my God, that's
so
funny.
I would be saying to people, oh, the ladder, thinking it was like the interim.
Everything, yeah.
And then I said the ladder, and I knew contextually they were referring to only the last thing. And I asked them, like, what do you mean? And they're like, that's what the ladder means. And I was like, oh. So now I use the ladder.
Ladder means the last thing?
As in, like, the later thing, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if that's the correct, like,
no.
derivative of it, but as in the the later thing. Yeah.
Okay. And then former means the first. Oh, there we go. We got it. Former first, latter latest.
Yeah. Once
Okay.
it clicks, you're like, oh, okay, I'm using it all the time.
Cut to me saying the former and the latter to everything moving on.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life, being like, oh, it's the former. Oh, it's the latter.
Have you read Rocky Powell's autobiography?
The
It's the latter.
It's the latter. My autobiography, the former and the latter, and it's just a ladder.
Yeah, you're in between it.
Yeah, climbing the ladder. Well, that should be yours because you said it.
I don't know, but the image is so clear for you. My book title would be something like, Will.
Oh, like Will Smith's book?
Oh, it's already taken?
Are you excited for 2024?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I remember telling myself not to bring up COVID.
Not to bring up COVID,
but I remember telling myself, Googling, how long do pandemics last?
Yeah.
And the numbers was like 4 years. 4 years, usually. Or I don't know, whatever website or resource I pulled up, it gave me the number 4 years. And I said, oh, shit, all right, just got to buckle down for 4 years. We could be locked in these apartments for 4 years.
Right.
Whatever it is, it gave me something to hold on to, like a prison sentence almost. And things lightened up a lot faster than that. But this year has kind of felt like the new normal. And so I'm excited to see, hopefully, 2024 will bring even more normal, I hope. Or not, who knows, life's unpredictable. But I'm excited for the new things that are coming, and I'm excited to set some new goals. And some people are like, don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but I think they're good. I usually think about mine by the end of the year. I give them a thought,
Mm-hmm.
Mostly aesthetic driven.
Yeah.
resolutions.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and then there's a few mindful things in there, but for the most part, it's like still chasing that six-pack.
Still chasing that six-pack. Me too. Been chasing it for 19 years.
Yeah.
I used to do ad videos in my bedroom when I was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
Why?
I just think that the way kids are chasing after their health and fitness goals, especially with the resources that were becoming available, the videos online and stuff, at that time probably wasn't the best, because there's not a dialogue about beauty standards and all bodies being beautiful, and then you've got that plus the combination of you could go online and look up a diet or look up whatever. I think it was probably a really hard time for young people.
Yeah, still is.
Still is.
Well, there's one thing I want to sign off and wish you a congratulations on.
Oh, well, hold on. We're done? We're done?
You have more you want to say?
You got to leave it on a high.
We're-
You got to
no.
crack a new bit or something.
Crack a bit. Okay, go ahead.
Crack a bit. You're over here watering at the mouth.
I'm not watering at the mouth.
You're watering at the mouth for a new bit.
No.
I am.
Okay, well, that was what I was going to talk to you about. I wanted to say congratulations to you publicly. You have made it to a UCB team.
Oh, yay. Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Talk about a vision, having a long-term vision and goal.
I remember listening to improv podcasts where they would interview house team members and they would talk about the intricacies of, creating a show on its feet, improvised with people, having an audience of people watch you and have to deliver something funny or at least captivating. And how they would just go about it, and they had techniques and skills that they would talk about, and they would dissect it, and they would nerd out about the theater. And I remember listening to them, and to think that now I will be doing that, even though I've been doing improv, but to think that I will be in that sphere that I was so obsessed with is really exciting.
Yeah, you put a focus on something, and you didn't stop until you got it.
And it's also just the beginning too, because that timeline really was interrupted, and now it's it's almost like you get the privilege of if I knew this when I was older. So it's kind of like you have the privilege of being I was a really young guy when I started at UCB, and now because of everything, the theater closing and all that time in between, I've become a different person, as a side effect of those things happening, and also as just the natural maturing process of growing up. Because I was still in college when I was taking classes at UCB.
Yeah, I used to come stay at my apartment and do week-long intensives.
Yeah, so much fun. So much fun. So I did those things and was a younger person. And now I'm going back to that theater, starting to do something.
Uh-huh.
But now I have all of this new wisdom. And so I'm like, excited to be in an environment that I think I'll be able to enjoy it even more with the new facilities I have, that come with aging. So that's exciting. I mean, I'm talking like I'm...
Yeah, it's like really like...
Like, what are we saying here?
What
like
are we
Father
saying?
Time?
Like, Jesus Christ. I need one of those ghosts to visit you and, like, literally...
Let's not put that... No ghosts are going to visit me
yeah.
because I'm actually at the end of my Scrooge story, not at the beginning.
Can I tell about the dream catcher?
Yeah.
So, Kaylee said that the dream catcher was like... There was a dream catcher in your room that was not yours, and it was giving you night sweats or something. And she was like, I think the dream catcher's like fucking him up. Like, both of us are like, we are not getting good energy from the dream catcher. And I had heard from a dear friend that they had also had problems with the dream catcher back in the day. When I heard that the dream catcher might be giving you night sweats, that's when I knew, oh yeah, those things are not great. So I took the dream catcher, we put it in a bag, and I ran to the local fast food restaurant and threw it in the garbage in their parking lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'd do it again. On the count of 3, what animal do you think has a superior consciousness? Is that what you said?
Sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Octopus.
Cat.
Oh, cat, yeah.
I really thought you were going to say cat.
I think, cat, yeah. But octopus is, like, very intelligent.
I didn't realize octopi were so small until we were watching a live episode, or not live, but we were watching Tiger Belly, the podcast Tiger Belly, last night. And Kalila was talking about how she kills octopus with her mouth. She bites their brain and holds them. But I thought I know it's octopi, but I do want to say octopuses. And I think it's so annoying that we have to say octopi.
Just say octopus. You don't have to say, just say octopus.
Octopuses. I want to say octopuses.
Octopus already sounds plural. So
no,
you can
octopus
just say
sounds
octopus.
like one, and octopuses sounds like multiple. So
Octopus, octopi. That's what I think it is.
It's octopi is multiple.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't octopi. I wish it was octopuses.
I wish it was octopu, and multiple was octopus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I thought they were as big as human beings.
You thought that they were as big as human beings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's pretty large.
I thought octopuses. I thought they were as big as humans. And then she's over here like, oh, I grabbed the octopus, I bite its brain, and then you gotta wait. And I was like, damn. That's some real gangsta shit to kill an octopus. But they feel like humans and stuff.
I think a lot of the stuff.
But a bear would kill us. Do you think that bears have podcasts where they're like, oh yeah, I just bit the human, I crushed his skull?
No, I don't.
All right.
I think that maybe Earth could have an unexplored region where bears have evolved to the point where they can, harness radio waves and record themselves and share anecdotes over a complex language that they've created and dispersed amongst the other bears? Yeah, that might be a thing. Do I think it's a thing? No, probably not.
If it was, it would be in a colder region. Like, it would be polar bears.
You think it would be polar bears?
I think if it was going to be any bears that had a podcast, it would be polar bears. Just because it's harder to get to the cold parts.
Teddy and David's Polar Bear Podcast. We're super excited to be on the air.
Polar bears!
It's getting hotter. Getting hotter. My house melted.
Global warming!
As the other bear would be like, why aren't they just like talking normal?
You know what I was impersonating actually? Did you ever watch Parks and Rec when Nick Kroll is on the radio show in Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Someone should tell them that's funny.
Yeah, speaking of which, that was Matt Besser was on that episode, I think. One of the founders of UCB. Isn't that funny? How that's where your mind went.
Matt Besser was on that? Skillz. Amy Poehler is one of the founders of UCB. That was her show.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm a misogynist.
That was so misogynist.
That was.
Bro,
That's not who I want to be. I mean, obviously I know that, but I thought, oh, how interesting that Besser.
I think the episode's over now. I think the episode's over. You've shown your true colors, and I've had enough of your...
I think if anyone's shown true colors, it's you, homie.
What do you mean?
I just flipped it. It's that easy, bro, to flip some shit on somebody. All you have to do is say that. Meditate on that.
No, you fucking meditate on that.
Wait, try and start an argument. I'll flip it immediately.
I don't like your face.
Okay, I guess it's probably like looking in the mirror for you.
Okay, I already used that.
Okay, give me another one. Give me a fresh one. I don't like your face isn't a genuine argument. Be like, yo, I'm trying to start an argument.
I can't believe you're still wearing this Newport sweater.
Am I, like, talking about your sweaters? You're always making stuff about my appearance. Like, you know how I feel. Like, just, like, let me be comfortable.
What is this that you're trying to do
right now? Why do you do that kind of stuff to somebody? Why are you... See, I'm flipping it.
You're flipping it and reverse it.
Flip it on me. I got you.
Call him Missy Elliott.
I don't like when you bring up early 2000 rap icons because it makes me think too much about a different time.
Well, move out then. What the fuck? Get out.
That's just rude.
Yesterday, you were like, oh, I can't believe I'm wearing this Newport sweater. It's so white. And I went, Newports are white?
Yeah, you thought I had a Newport cigarette
I thought you had a Newport
on,
cigarette. And then
which would be so cool.
Then I thought how badly I want a shirt that says Newports on it.
I mean, I get that. But I remember being young around Newport cigarette smoke. And do you want to know what it is? Not cool.
Not cool. But you know what is cool? You, Broham.
Oh, Rock, thanks. You're cool too. You know, obviously there's things I would change, but
for
the
sure,
most part,
there's definitely I would put some things in the comment box for sure when it comes to you.
When it comes to you,
the suggestion box.
When it comes to you, I would put things openly, publicly. It wouldn't even be anonymous like a suggestion box. I would be like, these are the things I want to change about you. But, you know, I'm glad you let me do the podcast.
No, I'm glad you did the podcast. I'm glad you did the podcast. It was a real joy to the world.
You know what? Maybe we should tee ourselves up for the next time if you'll have me.
Oh, I'd love to have you again. You're always welcome back on the show.
All right. About the same time tomorrow.
Same time tomorrow. I'm actually busy tomorrow.
Okay. Well, then don't make promises.
I'm watching Sophie's Choice. All right. Goodbye, Skillz.
See, now, if this was a visual medium, how I would end the podcast would be leaning on the ropes, and then charging at you, jumping horizontally, taking both of my feet.
It has to be over.
It is over, because I'm going to launch you across the ring.
It has to be over. Say your goodbyes.
I'm not saying goodbye.
I'm not coming back here on Thanksgiving. Quote from the Santa Claus. It's been real, Skillz.
Look, actually, this podcast never has to end. What if I refuse for the podcast to end?
Then I'll just press stop on the computer.
You don't have the fucking stones to do it.
Everybody, until next time.
She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. You're going to keep listening to this podcast for another 50 minutes because she isn't strong enough to end it.
Until next time, stay wild.